Hey everybody, welcome to PC Perspective. I'm Ryan Schrout. Open test beds have been a thing for a number of years, right? We've gone back with the Antec Skeleton and way beyond that, and I think everybody who has built computers has done the set it up on top of your motherboard box type of design. Now around here at PC Perspective, we do a lot of system builds, we do a lot of component swaps, switching motherboards, processors, video cards, so putting systems in cases is oftentimes not what we want to do. When we want to do a full system review or we want to test specific thermal properties, we absolutely do that, but for the majority of the time, we want quick access to these components. And so open test beds are really key to this. And the one we're looking at here today came out late last year. This is the Open Benchtable from openbenchtable.com. And it's unique in a myriad of ways. First of all, as the name implies, it is open, not just in that there's no case, but it is open source. You can actually download the plans to either create your own modifications, 3D print your own mods to it, or if you have access or the resources, you can actually mill your own rather than purchase one. So that's an interesting kind of plan on it or take on it. I don't imagine the vast majority of people watching this or buying it are interested in making their own, instead purchasing one. And it has some interesting features that go along with it as well. The keys to this are that it is portable and that it is a toolless design. Those are the two things that really stand out. It's portable in that when you buy this, it actually ships to you in a very flat box. It almost looks like a pack of padded envelopes or something like that. And that's part of its appeal. It folds down very flat. Everything that is in part of the construction has a nice little place. The screws have specific locations. The legs have specific locations, making it portable. And they even, I think, offer a travel sleeve with it, like a neoprene style travel sleeve, if you happen to take your computing, overclocking, whatever it is on the road with you. So when you get it, it's nice and neat and flat and very cool looking, milled out of a single piece of aluminum. Now the second part there is that it's toolless. The construction process from putting the table together itself to putting your system together on it is completely toolless. It all has thumb screws and or snap downs of various different types. The legs here on the sides that actually hold up the main part of the test bed are simply thumb screwed into the top of it. You've got your power supply on this side screwed into the front of it, and even though the fan is at the bottom, there actually is a gap. There's actually an angle. The power supply is on a slight angle, giving the fan, if it mounts with the fan at the bottom, enough room to bring air in and up through the power supply itself. Mounting the motherboard to this is actually really unique, and it's one of our favorite parts about it, is that you can use a standard, your standoffs can have standard screw-on style if you want to kind of more permanently and more securely affix your motherboard to the system, but what we prefer here is they have these kind of snap down. So if you just kind of here it there, they kind of snaps down over a little retention mechanism to keep the motherboard in place. So if you do swap motherboards, after you take your video card off, your cooler off, it just kind of pulls off. You don't have to worry about dealing with the 9 screws that you would have to otherwise. And it's still fairly strong, right? You can, we've taken it without the video card installed and, put it upside down and the motherboard doesn't slip off and it doesn't appear to be loose on anything. It seems fairly robust in that regard. And that's a pretty neat little integration method there for you. Now, when you go through installing like your graphics card, you can see you've got these retention posts here, places for them all the way down the line, but I like the fact that it's modular. If you don't have anything else in a video card, you don't have to have the additional posts installed on the test bed. So that's a plus in my book as well. In terms of cooling, it does support 240 millimeter radiators through these little angular brackets. It's a little bit hard to see here, but you can tell right here that there's a little piece of aluminum that has screw ends on both sides, and then one attaches to the edge of the test bed and one attaches to the radiator in this case. A little bit of complication there based on the fact that reservoirs on the top or the bottom of these rads can kind of get in the way. They can make the screws that they give you maybe aren't perfectly or aren't long enough to get through, especially if you wanted to mount the fan on the inside, right? So we had to do a little bit of finagling to get that to work correctly, but we did get it mounted, and there's room for one on the bottom here as well if you had a GPU with a water cooler involved on it too. There's plenty of space and openings through the bottom of the actual mounting plate to route your cables through, whether it be SATA cables or your power supply cables. You can make this a relatively neat and clean design, despite the fact that it is open air design. The storage mounting is kind of right here, and you can see how this works. You basically are mounting the SSDs and the hard drives on their edges through these thumb screws. And it's very quick and clean and neat, but it does offer, it's probably the most precarious part of the design, in that it feels like if you accidentally grab this the wrong way, or you try to slide it across the desk or something this way, and you accidentally grab it by that depending on the strength of the frame or the body of the SSD or the hard drive, you may run the risk of either snapping the screws, bending the metal, or some derivative thereof. So something to keep in mind with that in terms of the hard drive and SSD mounting. It is also a fairly expensive device. This is $159 as we looked at it today for the silver variant that we have here, $199 if you do the black or red version. It is very much a unique product in that it is kind of, they build them in bunches and ship them out. I think the current ones, if you order now, are kind of shipping in the May timeframe. They have partnered with Streacom, who some of our readers and viewers will know for making kind of high-end but niche, expensive, low-run chassis. They've partnered with Streacom to sell these. As of right now, I can't really find it in stock anywhere listed. They sell it as the Streacom BC1 bench table, but it is essentially the exact same product. So again, prices are vary on that. You're looking at 150 to 200 bucks for it, which is expensive considering there's not a whole lot to it right here in terms of like materials. But if you compare that to some of the other open tables we looked at, like the Puget Sound had this acrylic chassis open table that we've used in the past as well, you're looking in that same range. And it's because of this is a solid block of aluminum, high quality aluminum. It seems it's very strong, very rigid. You're not worried about bending or breaking or cracking, anodized. But it's one solid piece of fairly expensive aluminum. So you're going to pay for that, and it's low run, right? And that's when you're not doing mass production, when you're doing kind of individual production, you're going to pay a little bit more for it. For a general consumer, this is not something you really want to consider. If you build a computer every year or 2 years and you put it in a case and you're happy with that, that's what it's for. If you are a frequent overclocker and you want access to all the buttons, the resetting of your BIOS, you want to swap video cards often, you're swapping processors often, this is the type of thing that you need for that. I've already kind of started looking into how many of these we want to get in to replace our current test beds of either that we have set up as either on top of motherboard boxes or more likely on top of kind of these presswood, metal, tiny screw combinations, things that aren't very strong, aren't very secure. This is a much better solution for us, and I'm looking forward to trying that out. So we have a full review. Ken has a full review over at PCPer.com for this. If you want to see more pictures and descriptions of the installation process and the experiences of using it, I would encourage you to do so. And we'll see you next time, guys. Thanks.
If you enjoyed this content, consider supporting in-depth technical content by contributing at patreon.com/PCPer.